Hey everybody, welcome. In this video I'm going to show how I took what is probably my favorite photo of the sequence of photos that I took of Fashion Week on the streets of New York in September. I took a whole bunch, mostly with the Hasselblad, a few digital ones. But this particular one that I'm going to show a little bit later in the video and how it came about, I think is the one that I prefer for a few reasons. There's a few other ones that are nice and I really like, but most of them that I took were photos that, I approached the person or saw the person and asked them if they didn't mind being photographed, or they were already being photographed by other people. So I just kind of joined in and took the photo without asking. But in this particular photograph, the situation was a little different. I had just arrived, and it's the first time that I've ever gone to photograph anything about Fashion Week. In this particular case, just the surroundings of it. And so I had to kind of situate myself and figure out what I was going to do. So essentially the shot that I like the best is the first one, if not the first, the second photo that I took with the Hasselblad. And then there were various other ones afterwards, but this one I think was my favorite. But the difference here was that in this particular photo, I didn't talk to the person. The person wasn't posing for anybody, and they were moving. They were on the go. They were walking past me, and I caught the photo, I think, at the right exact moment. But there were a few details which I'll get into in this video. So what you're seeing here is basically right after I arrived, and I went in the front of the location where the fashion shows were happening, and I wanted to see if I could start photographing with my Hasselblad right there. So I got low to the ground, I set up my camera, I set up the iPhone to video what I was seeing through the viewfinder, and then I decided just to wait a little bit and see what was going to pass in front of me. Maybe I had something interesting, or somebody dressed nicely, or whatever. I wasn't sure exactly what, but I wanted this spot with the Fashion Week, sign in the back and all that. And there were other photographers roaming around, taking pictures of people and stuff. And I decided to kind of camp out right there, at least for a little while. The problem was, though, that nothing really was going on. It was just a bunch of people kind of hanging around. They were waiting to, it was like a line starting to form to go inside into the shows. And so I waited for, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, and there was really nothing going on, just people standing around. Nothing very interesting to photograph. And like I said earlier, what I was hoping was to kind of get somebody walking in my direction and photograph that. But with all these people standing around, it didn't look like it was going to really happen. But what happened then, while I was in that one spot, I decided to turn the camera off and go somewhere else. Now I have my camera on my custom bracket, the one that holds the iPhone and holds the camera together so that I could film everything that's going on. And so I kind of shut that off. I stopped videotaping, and I was about to get up and walk around to find somewhere else to photograph, when, as a minute or two passed, all of a sudden the area kind of cleared out. I think the line had opened up, or the doors had opened up, and people went inside. So what you're seeing now are some of the other photos that I took that day. And suddenly there was like practically nobody around. It was like just empty. And so before I left, or before I moved from that spot, but just before I was about to, in the distance, I see this girl in red walking in my direction at a pretty good pace, right? And there was nobody else around. So I thought, okay, this might be the shot that I wanted. And I quickly had to get the bracket back up, turn the video function on the phone back on, and focus the camera and all that. And I had to do that really quick because the girl was like maybe 30 feet away and walking in my direction pretty fast. So that's when I turned the camera back on, right here. And as you can see, I have very little time. I just turned the camera on. The the iPhone viewfinder is not even in focus, so that's why the image on my viewfinder here appears blurry. In real life, it's not, but it is through the iPhone, because I didn't have time to focus the phone so that it was perfectly sharp on the screen of the iPhone. All I had time to do was turn on the phone and get the camera ready and point in that direction to photograph her coming. Now, so what happens as she continues walking closer to me? All of a sudden, out of nowhere, this guy coming in the opposite way starts walking in her direction and gets right in front of me, basically about to ruin the shot. Now keep in mind that I pre-focused a particular spot where I was expecting to photograph anybody in particular that I wanted to photograph. So I zone focused, and I knew that I only had a certain range of space to get that shot. So now when he walks in front of me, the focus isn't even the biggest issue. The problem now is he going to get out of the way in time? It's a little challenging, you know, but that's kind of the fun of it, you know.
All right, I'm intrigued. Oh, that's how we do it, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
I've never seen this clamp.
I Home Depot'd it. So to add a little bit to the challenge was that there was another photographer there, a really nice guy, that was talking to me while all this was going on. So I was a little distracted too. And that just kind of added to the challenge, but I managed to get the photo. So let's take a look at the sequence of the video again, and this time with the finished photograph. So in the end, a couple of interesting things. First, the guy that walked in front of me, he's a little bit in the frame, but he didn't block her or anything like that. And if I needed to, I could have always cropped him out of the photograph, but I rather just kept it that way. The other thing is, in the video on the viewfinder, if you look closely, even though it's a little dark and blurry, there's a side door to the building, and another guy suddenly, as she's walking, also this guy just pops out, his head pops out of the door. He opens the door. He wasn't there like a second earlier, and he opened the door like a second before I took the photo. So you basically have this guy that looks like he's staring at her, but in reality he's not. He just happened to open the door, and his head is there. So either way, I don't care. I like the photo. I like the way she is in the photo. I like the way everything about her, the step is in the right moment, and it's nice and sharp. So I'm pretty happy with it. So after I looked at my photographs from that day for a little while, I ended up liking this one more and more, in part because of the challenge, and also just because I like the way the colors, the red contrast with the color of the building and the sign, and you know, yeah, I just really like this shot. So hope you guys enjoyed, you guys and gals enjoyed the video, and I appreciate you guys stopping by, liking and subscribing. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys next time, next video.